All right, kids, it's story time with Dude. Or something like that. All right, it's story time with Dude Day. It was supposed to be yesterday, but I was traveling to Disneyland. Today, we are at Disneyland. We just had lunch. The kids are on a ride with my wife, so I'm going to give you a little story that I promised to give you last week. Now, you may have noticed on the thumbnail a quite impressive looking young lad. That was me. It was the summer of 2008. Continuing off last week's story, I had just gotten off of a youth retreat, if you want to call it that. I was an adult leader, and we took a bunch of youth up and we hiked the Delicate Arch. I was dying. I mean, literally thought I was dying. And we came back from that trip, and I was like, that's it. I've had enough. And I thought that it was I'd hit the moment, you know, kind of like that rock bottom moment, right? And you never know, because time will tell. But at least for a good couple of years, it meant enough to me that I did it, and I kept it off. So here's how that happened. I came home and I'd followed this author. His name was Bill Phillips. He'd written a book called Body for Life back in the 90s, I believe. I really liked the approach. He was kind of the dictionary or the Bible for the everyday man to learn bodybuilding, how to work out, how to eat right. And I had tried doing Body for Life on and off more times than I can count. I never entered the competition, and he had kind of disappeared out of the limelight, and I found out he'd sold the company. Maybe he had a grundle of money, good on him. And sold the company. He'd sold his nutritional company, EAS, sold the Body for Life contest and the whole package, I believe. And so he was laying low. I didn't, and so I kept going back to that book, and we came off that trip where I literally thought I was having a heart attack, where I thought I was dying. And I'm just like, something's got to change. I was 219 or 17 pounds. And I came back and I looked him up. And up popped this website called transformation.com. It's not there anymore, but it was there. It was a nice little community place. I registered and joined up, and then I realized he was holding a competition. Now, he had given away a lot of money to people. He gave away fancy cars. He did a lot during the Body for Life days. And I'm like, dude, this is like the first competition of his new program, whatever you want to call it, right? And so I'm like, if I'm ever gonna have a chance, like, this is my chance. Like, Body for Life, there were dudes that got ripped. I don't know what they were doing, but there were people that got ripped. And so I jumped in, and there was a community, so you could like go on the forums. It's obviously it's 2008. We're long past that in the world of the internet these days. But as I jumped in and participated, and at the time I was doing, we'd been doing professional development stuff, corporate development, leadership and management training tools. That was the kind of stuff I was selling, because I was pretty well versed in like personal development lingo and things like that. And so I kind of knew the speak, and I jumped in the forums, and I kind of made some sense to some people. But the thing that really changed was there was a section of that website where you could just basically post like a personal blog, right? You could, and I was using it myself. I just was using it to document my journey. So I would go online and every single day, kind of like these videos, kind of what I'm doing now, but back then, I was typing out my feelings, and I typed out, hold on, my grandson just woke up. Where was I? Okay, so anyway, I was using this little blog section for my daily. I would write down my feelings. I'd write down how the day went, and then I started like a little accountability section, and I would put down all my meals for the day. I would put down what I did for exercise, and I was kind of just using it as a way to personally check in. Well, a bunch of people started like paying attention, and well, not a bunch. I mean, it was a pretty small community, but people were starting to comment, and this wasn't like the whole internet had access. It was just people on this website, right? So it was pretty cool because people were commenting. And then lo and behold, one day Bill Phillips himself comments, and he goes, "Hey, dude, you are you're doing really well," because I was posting what I was doing every day, and I was keeping myself accountable. So I kind of got noticed. And he had a nutritional shake, and I was drinking the nutritional shake. I was doing, it's 5 to 6 meals a day, balanced with a protein and a carb, portion controlled sizes, like proteins about the size of the palm of your hand, carb size of your clenched fist, the old Body for Life stuff. And I just started doing really good, and weight started coming off. Now, I'm going to insert a picture right here. This is where I started, and you can see over the next 4 months, 18 weeks, how I took a picture every 30 days and I started to change. And my change started getting more and more drastic. And I was doing pretty darn good. And to make a long story short, so about the time I hit my 30-day progress, I really got some attention because the 30-day pictures were so drastic. Like literally, it was amazing. When I remember my wife, we put them up on the computer, like so I did 3 up, like front, side, back, and then 30 days later, she was doing the comparison, and she was in the other room, and I was like all worried. I'm like, I don't know if you can tell a difference. And she goes, "Holy crap!" She goes, "Dude, you can totally see a difference," and you could. And I got some attention after that. The contest was growing. There were people that started struggling, and I just wasn't. I was dialed in. I did everything that Bill had asked us to do. Like he was giving assignments along the way. So it was kind of cool. It's kind of like you're being personally coached by a very, very well-known, fitness author. And maybe not face to face, but over this community. And I was doing all the assignments, and I was doing really good. And transformation was about much more than just physical change. It was about, trying to really become a better person. And so that's what was going on. And as you can see in these pictures, things were phenomenal. And what happened was, at the end of the day, I ended up, fast forward, 4 months in, this was my final photo right here. This is my before and after. You can see there's a pretty good difference. Again, I think I went from 219 or 217 down to 162. I think it was 52 pounds in 18 weeks. But my body fat percentage went from like 38% down to like 14 or something. Like you can see in the after picture, I was getting a 6-pack, but I still had a little bit of that chub right at the bottom. But I mean, look at my love handles. They were non-existent. I mean, from where I started, it was amazing. So you've heard me say that kind of diet works. Well, yeah, it does. It does. I had some challenges with it for long-term sustainability. So for me, I kind of moved on beyond that. And to make a long story short, there's actually 3 or 4 more stories within this story where I learned some very valuable lessons that helped define me and who I was. Anyway, I learned several valuable lessons from that whole experience that I've taken with me for the next 20 years or 18 years. It's crazy to think about. That picture was in 2000. That picture was taken November of 2009, the after photo. So it has been 17 to 18 years. That's pretty insane to think about how much time has passed. A lot has happened. Obviously I regained weight. I thought I was on top of the world. I remember telling myself I will never, ever gain weight again. Surprise! Things happen. Life happens. And there were some circumstances where the whole time I did this transformation program, I had a really good experience. The people that I met, the The experience that I had was good. I won. I was one of the winners. I'm not the winner. I think the prize, I won 10 grand in cash, 10 for charity that we donated, and then I got 10 trip to Hawaii. Like, we're talking like incredible trip to Hawaii, like the kind that I could never afford, like Four Seasons Resort in Kona, you know, the fully pampered with all the other quote unquote winners or champions that he called them. And it was that was an incredible trip. Had the opportunity to coach some more people, and actually coached one of the future winners of the next round. And I was really, really, really enjoying helping people and doing what I was doing. And then there was some things that just went down, and the whole thing kind of got ugly. And for me, it hurt. And like I said, there's stories for another day. I learned some valuable lessons. But that experience, the only reason I'm sharing this here on story time is it's a fun story. You know, I did something cool once and won a thing and got some cash and prizes. But the bigger reason that I'm sharing it is it's proof. Like I know some people will say, well, you know, I don't celebrate past successes, and I'm not trying to sit here gloat and say like, oh, back in high school in my glory days, I won the game-winning touchdown. You know what I mean? Look at me, I'm a big fat guy. No, that's not what I'm talking about. It's just proof, right? I've actually done it. I've got pictures to 5 different ways. I've done it on carnivore. I've done it on keto. I've done it on transformation. I've done it on Body for Life. Losing weight is really not the hard part. The hard part is conquering the emotional and mental part. That's really the hard part. And figuring out why you go back, why you slip, why you fall to temptations, all that kind of stuff. So that's what I'm working on now. But that is the story of what happened after the hike to the Delicate Arch and what happened over the next 5 to 6 months. And it was quite the ride, quite the experience. And but then I moved on and had other life experiences that were amazing since then. So lots more stories to come. But I just wanted to share. I know I had some people ask me, you know, if I had the pictures, and I did. I had to dig them up. Haven't seen those in a decade. And I'm proud of it. I'm proud of what I was able to accomplish. But I've since failed many times. So all it does for me is it just says, look, I know I can do it. I've done it before. It's just time to do it again. And to really identify reasons, fail points, sticky points, things that get me off track, and try and correct those things once and for all. So that is the story, and that was another episode of Story Time with Dude, or something like that. Anyway, that's it. We will see you tomorrow. Thanks for being here. Thanks for commenting, and yeah, let me know what you think. I was smoking hot, wasn't I? Dude out.